Henshin Inspection presents Going Ultra. This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. You can find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Join me as I talk about Ultraman Blazar, episode 25, The Ones Who Embrace the Earth. So this is the final episode of Blazar. It's the finale. What did you think of how they won? Are you satisfied with the ending? I'm going to talk about that and more in my notes. So here we go. Objectively, there are a lot of issues that didn't need to be here, that are here due to pacing, or I should say poor pacing. And I really do, this is basically following up from last episode, that all this stuff was crammed into episode 24, and there's things crammed in episode 25 as well, and there's even things that are super unclear that don't quite make sense. One of them being, let me see if I made this in my notes earlier. One of them being, is it a fact that Earth Garon is made from the scrap of the V-99 ship that was shot down in 1999, so 23 or 22 years ago in Blazar's timeline? Is that the truth? Is that what actually happened? I'm pretty confused by that. And it was funny, I read something on the wiki because I was trying to figure this out, and it's like, yeah, this full episode, the episode was so long that it was like a movie length and they had to cut it down. And I don't know what a movie length is in Japan. Is that 35 minutes? Is it 60 minutes? Is it 88 minutes? I don't know. It's very common for movies to have been around 80 minutes for like a full length runtime. I think that's the feature length runtime. Whatever Snow White is, I'm pretty sure is like the minimum required runtime for a film or a movie, whatever. Anyway, these pacing issues really made it a mess, and it's very confusing how it was put together, and I don't know if they had so much content that they had to cut content, and therefore things that would have helped it make more sense weren't there, and maybe there was just a quick mention of, oh yeah, Earth Garon's made either entirely from, or maybe just its like supplemental weapons, the Mod 3, Mod 4, Mod 2 stuff, I guess, are developed from the scrap of the alien thing they shot down. It'd be like if Area 51 held alien tech that the United States shot down in whatever that was, the 40s, and we had a super robot that we had created or whatever, and then we're pulling stuff. So it's like, is the super robot made entirely from the alien tech, and you're just using more and more alien tech to get to improve it as time goes on, or you are only the weapons that you're adding onto it are made from the alien tech, and the rest of it's stuff that you've developed on your own? I don't know. It doesn't really make sense, and it kind of seems like even earthy, this advanced AI might be partially made from the alien tech as well. But again, it's very unclear. It's all very confusing, and I don't know why they couldn't have told us about this like 2 or 3 episodes ago. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it had to happen like this. Dobashi's fears caused all of this to happen, basically. He shot down the alien craft. He was in command, and he made the decision to shoot it down. And because of that, the V-99 thought that humans were an enemy, and they were like, their planet's dead, and they're looking for a new home or something like that, and they were just exploring. And when he saw them over Japanese airspace, I guess he decided to shoot them down. And, it's kind of interesting, an idea that fear is something that separates people, and it makes conflict, and it creates problems, and like fear is a path to destruction. But I think we already covered that in Ultraman Z. It was definitely done in a different, kind of more aggressive, more pronounced way. It's more subtle here, and I think it's done well here, but just we've already seen that, so I'm not quite sure why we're revisiting that, especially with Taguchi being the head of the show. I don't know why cover that ground again, other than it's familiar territory, and it feels good, it feels right. Also, the message there kind of seemed to be something about how violence and fear and aggression, or aggression based in fear, aggression and violence based in fear is bad, which again seems like kind of what Zet was saying. But then we had this dramatic swing between Earth Garon and Blazar not fighting at all against Varallon, and then we had, as soon as the fleet had left, the V-99 fleet disappeared through their wormhole, I guess, or their wormhole drives or warp drives or whatever it was. Then they went ahead and they just went crazy. They went ham on him. Yeah, they totally killed him, and it feels a little bit odd because the violence initiated against the V99 people caused them to send these specific space kaiju, including Varallon, to attack the Earth and to destroy it or take it over. I'm not sure if they wanted to live on Earth after they killed humans or what. We don't even know what they look like. It's also making me think that the kaiju that they sent are like bioweapons, or maybe they're basically bioweapons because they're launching them at Earth to cause havoc, which is a concept I really love. But that is like kind of that. I love that concept on its own, kind of divorced from the context here. So like I don't really get it. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because then they just like really go hard to kill Varallon, and it's like a good thing and a cool thing, and everybody's happy about it. Of course, he was going to destroy the Earth, but it's kind of funny. Like, why wouldn't the V99 like kill Varallon himself? They just left the Earth to potentially be destroyed by Varallon, and you would think if like they're sad because their home planet got destroyed, they wouldn't leave, and like they left because of this concept of future. They wanted to leave a future for themselves and for the Earthlings, and instead of helping them secure that future, they just nope out of there, and then they're left to fight the kaiju, which is more exciting to see. But I don't know, it's kind of strange. So yeah, like I said, there's a lot here that kind of doesn't make sense, and that's unfortunate. It's definitely bringing it down, although I don't know, I kind of like it anyway. Seeing all the like Blazar exclusive kaiju plus the Demaaga mama and baby they're from Ultraman X, save the day. It was kind of cool. Like there's all these bio bombs that Varallon is somehow able to produce, and they slide off its tail very nastily. But then the kaiju like they dug trenches, or they dug under the locations of these bombs, and then they ate the bio bombs, and them eating the bio bombs somehow stopped them from being able to explode anymore, which is cool. And it capitalizes on the Teganular thing from before, and you've got Deltandal's helping as well. Let me see the list of kaiju from this episode. So Teganular was helping as part of the Earth Defense Force, or the Kaiju Defense Force of Earth. But then there was Demaaga again, who's not exclusive to the show, or didn't start in the show. There's Zugugan, Deltandal, and I guess that's it. Yeah, the little bugs, the plain guy, Demaaga's from X, and Teganular from last episode. I feel like there was one more Blazar or origin kaiju that was helping out, but whatever. So anyway, that's like a fun thing. I like that a lot. So we see Mama and Baby Demaaga again, but like we still have no explanation of how that golden cocoon thing saved them and where it put them, if it dug them underground or what, and like still none of that really makes any sense. But this reminds me again of Ultraman Z, where the kaiju were like attacking and going crazy kind of because they sensed the threat that the D4 weapon was on board Ultroid Zero, and they wanted to stop that threat. So in a similar way, the kaiju here are doing actions to stop this threat from outside. And I kind of think it's done better here, even though it's harder to trace and detect because it had more buildup and it was more of a slow burn, and it was seeded earlier, and then we got to see, how it manifested here. So I do like that. Although, where the Demaagas go and how does that work? Is that a power he has to tunnel people underground? I don't know, I guess. And then, why is Gento suddenly not in pain or injured anymore? Or at least it doesn't seem that way. Is transforming into Blazar a threat for him now or not? And if it's not, then how was that resolved? And why was that even a thing if you're just going to wrap it up with pretty much no explanation? I mean, again, like I said, it kind of adds an interesting twist to it that his life is threatened by being Ultraman Blazar, but also his life is threatened by being Ultraman Blazar, like I said before, because he's in, death matches with kaiju. And death matches, because people die when they get hurt, or people die when they get killed. So he's got that to watch out for, and that could definitely happen being an ultra fighting kaiju. So anyway, interesting, strange, kind of odd. So yeah, I don't know. I don't get how that was resolved. All that said, though, I like the emotion of it all. I like the emotion of it all. I like the emotional wrap up. All of SKaRD being together, looking at the, being in silhouette against the sun, referencing the Blazar that they're hoping the V99 will find a home beyond, and like this, there's like this, I don't know, hopeful feeling and this chance for peace. And like the end is very cozy and warm and very open ended. I loved. It's funny. Gento's last line is "I'm home." And he says that to his wife while holding his son, and he smiles. We get a freeze frame of him, which is a lovely image. And just like that feeling of him being home, and like that's the resolution to everything, is really nice, and I like it, but I don't know that it feels earned. And like I was hoping he would tell his wife that he was Blazar and that he was fighting and all this stuff, even though I kind of feel like maybe she already knows. But it's just, it's kind of a strange way to wrap things up. Again, it feels cozy. I like it. It's nice. But like him lying to her this whole time and to his son and everything, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know how I like that. I don't know how I like that at all. And like, is this ending open-ended so they can have the Blazar movie and have it tie in directly to the canon and whatnot? I'm not really sure. Haven't seen the Blazar movie. I think it's got to be out by now, but just, it's going to have an American release. It had one at San Diego Comic-Con back in July 4th or 5th, whatever that was, or July 20-something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're in August now, and it's out there, but I'm going to have to watch that. Hopefully they release the dub of it. Maybe if they do like a Blu-ray, I'll buy that and watch that and talk about it. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm kind of confused and not satisfied with how things went down in this finale, but I still like it and I still enjoyed it and it felt cozy. By the way, I loved, and I'm a sucker for callback or throwback stuff like this, but I love that the ring and the bracelet, once again, they empowered him and he was able to do the classic Ultraman beam or ray attack, and that's how he killed Varallon at the end, and that really was satisfying to me. I loved that. I loved all his red and blue streaks lighting up and giving more energy to the thing, and super cool. I definitely like that. So like, I know that like bit of nostalgia baiting got me, but like more than that, and it did help for sure, but more than that, it was like the satisfying emotional conclusions for everybody that I like to see. And I don't know, Dobashi's out, Haruno is in, probably he's back in, no problem, General Haruno, and he's going to be fine. Emi, I imagine, like I can see kind of a trajectory going forward for all these characters to some extent, and I like that, and I like that they have a future, but I don't like how like slapdash this ending was, and how sloppily things came together. But I still like the emotional impacts that stuff had on it. So I don't know. I'm not entirely satisfied. What about you? What did you think of Blazar overall? What do you think about the Blazar finale? What do you think about Blazar overall? I would love to hear people's thoughts on this. And anyway, I'm definitely planning on doing better. I really hope the Ultraman Academy books, the Ultraman Academy books are a lot better than this. Those are going to be geared more towards kids. Why am I bringing that up? Because I'm writing stuff. I'm writing stuff for kids. I'm writing Tokusatsu inspired stuff. I'm writing stuff that's like very tangentially Tokusatsu related with magical bugs battling monsters, but I have a plan for either one longish book or 3 shorter books that all tie together with a giant hero, a common writer like lone hero, and then a team of heroes who transform with this mysterious power and fight something from outer space as well. But I plan to do a lot better with mine and have it make a lot more sense and have things be more clear, while still having mystery and having things to discover and things like that, because I think those are important and those are compelling parts of storytelling, but it's just not quite there yet. So anyway, there's a lot to do with Ultraman yet, because there are so many things out already and there are so many more things coming out. I do plan on sticking with Ultraman. I've got Ultraman Arc that I'm going to be doing weekly coverage of, so for now you can find me there doing that. I strongly insist that you like and share this to help me make more of it. But the more popular it is, the more time and energy I'm going to sink into doing things, or invest into doing things, I should say. As far as covering Ultraman is concerned, I want to do other stuff, but I need to build up my subscribership, and then I will work from there. Also, please subscribe and get me up to the stars, the numbers I want to reach, so I can keep making this stuff, and eventually when I'm done with my books I can tell you all about them and you can check them out and hopefully enjoy them as much or more than you're enjoying these shows that we're talking about, because I'm trying to make them in the spirit of those shows, make them really cool, make them a lot of fun, make them very focused on character, but also on cool action and spectacle. And anyway, I ask that you help me with that, and I ask that you leave comments and interact with me on this because I've got a lot more Ultraman stuff to talk about, a lot more Tokusatsu to talk about, and a lot more general stories to talk about, which I'm talking about over on my other channel, Fortress Fiction, which is linked here. But again, you can always find everything at the website, mjmunoz.com. Until next time, folks, take care, be well, be Ultra. I hope you enjoyed that. Subscribe to keep up with me. Like and share to help me reach more people like you. And go to mjmunoz.com to find your next favorite thing. And don't forget to let your voice be heard. Stories are always better when you're part of the conversation. Until next time, be well. This is MJ signing out. This has been a Story Over Everything production.